Great news for Philly. Great news for basketball fans that we get Joel back for Game 3.
Embiid got a running start. Embiid, a lot of contact with Adebayo. Got it to go. Plus the foul. Maxey again. Tyrese Maxey is feeling it.
Is really what created the separation here. Obviously a big first half for James Harden.
So the Sixers win in Game 3 in Philadelphia in Joel Embiid's return to the lineup. A season-saving win potentially for the Philadelphia 76ers as they are now down 2-1 in their second-round series versus the Miami Heat. This was a tough defensive battle for both sides, but the Sixers ended up gutting it out at home with Joel Embiid back in the lineup, with the mask on, with the orbital fracture, with the torn thumb ligament still. Embiid came back into the lineup and he made a huge difference in this game for the Sixers. Their defense was just 1,000 times better. If you watched the game, you could clearly see Miami Heat were just struggling to get more open shots. A lot of that had to do with Joel Embiid and his defensive impact in the game. His presence on the floor alone is enough to make a huge difference in this series. And we saw it tonight as the Sixers ended up getting the win and the Miami Heat scored only 79 points in this game. Really impressive defensive game from the Sixers. But we got to talk about Joel Embiid's offensive game as well. He came back, he only had 18 points and he had 11 rebounds. But the man's been off for a week. He's got a broken face. He's coming off a concussion. He hasn't really touched a basketball. He still has that thumb, or the torn ligament in his thumb. And he came out and he shot 5 for 12, 18 points, 11 rebounds. But he hit big shots, especially in that fourth quarter. He hit that tough and one over Bam Adebayo that put the lead just at that point where it seemed like it could be out of reach for Miami. He made a huge impact in this game. You got to give Joel Embiid credit for playing at all. The amount of injuries he's dealing with right now is ridiculous, and he just came back to try to give his team a chance to win. Because let's face it, without him, they stand no chance in this series. But Joel Embiid toughed it out, came back, and he should continue to improve as this series moves on. James Harden, we've been looking for him to step up. James Harden in the first half was really aggressive, looked decisive. He came out 15 points in the first half. And then in the second half, he kind of disappeared a little bit. But in that first half, he was looking really good. He was confident, making aggressive moves towards the basket, getting out in transition, finding guys for open shots. He was definitely good in this game, especially in the first half. I just would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive in the second half. Who knows what we're going to get from James Harden, but he definitely did play better in this game, especially with Embiid coming back. It just seems like they have a more established offense with those two playing together, and he definitely benefits from having Embiid in the game. So we got to talk about the two guys that really made the big difference in this game. Number one, Danny Green, coming out 7 for 9 from 3. Struggling the first two games. He only made 4 threes in total in the first two games, shot awful in both those games. And that's part of the reason why the Sixers lost. But in this game, he stepped up big time. 7 three-pointers made, 21 points for Danny Green. And he was a big reason why the Sixers won this game. In the third quarter, the Heat were making a run. Jimmy Butler was really making a big difference for Miami, bringing them back in the game. And Danny Green comes down and he hits a couple threes and pushes the lead back up for Philadelphia. He was a big reason why the Sixers ended up winning this game. And then Tyrese Maxey. In that first half, Tyrese Maxey did not score a single point, but he finished the game with 21 points, shot 7 for 11 from the field, 5 for 6 from 3. He hit big shot after big shot in that third quarter and in the fourth quarter. It seemed like when you need a play, Tyrese Maxey came and made it. He had an amazing save that went in to James Harden, which then ended up in that Joel Embiid and one that potentially closed out the game for the Sixers. Maxey just made winning plays and he's not afraid of the moment. Awesome game for the 76ers in general. They shot so much better from 3. Their defense was incredible in this game, and that's a lot of what won them this game. Miami only shot 35% from the field, 23% from 3. Obviously, Miami's not going to always shoot like that, and they did miss some open shots. But you got to give the Sixers credit because they definitely had an effect on that. The quality of shot, like I said, the Miami Heat had was not nearly as good as it was in those first two games. So huge credit to the Sixers. Now they're back in this series with a chance to tie it 2-2 on Sunday, Game 4 in Philadelphia. And I'm just so happy they won. That's pretty much all I got for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, subscribe for more Sixers and Eagles videos. Drop a like down below to help push the content out to other people. That being said, go Sixers. That's all I got for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.